Social exhaustion is silently destroying your performance. You've optimized your sleep, your calendar, your diet, but there's one variable almost no high achiever audits: your social environment. Every interaction you have has a cost or a return. If you've ever finished a conversation feeling more drained than when you started, you've already felt this. If you haven't looked at that closely, you're probably operating at a deficit without realizing it. That deficit has a name. It's social exhaustion. And it's one of the most overlooked drivers of burnout. And it doesn't show up where most people are looking. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 5 signs it's already affecting your performance and a simple way to identify where it's coming from. I built a free audit around this. It's linked below. For now, start with this. Most people think burnout comes from doing too much. Sometimes it does, but just as often, it comes from where your energy is going, and more importantly, where it's being taken. Not all effort shows up on your calendar. Some of it shows up in conversations, expectations, and the people around you. Some give you energy, some take it. The problem is that most people never track that. They track their hours, but they don't track what those hours are costing them. And that's where the disconnect starts. You're not just tired, you're operating below your normal level, and you don't have a clear reason why. Focus drops, decisions take longer, simple things feel heavier than they should, and it doesn't always trace back to the work, which is why it's easy to miss. Sometimes it is everything around your work. Here's 5 ways it starts showing up in your performance. Most people recognize at least one of these immediately. Social energy collapse. You have a conversation, and instead of feeling better, you feel drained. Nothing major happened, but you don't feel sharper. You feel slower. That's a social energy problem. Some relationships restore energy. Others constantly take it without giving it back. And when most of your interactions fall into the second category, you're starting your day at a deficit. You finish a call, and instead of building momentum, you need a reset before you can focus again. That's not neutral. That's a performance leak. And once that starts happening consistently, something else begins to slip with it. Boundary erosion. You say yes, even when you know you shouldn't. You take the call. You respond right away, even when you had something else planned. Not because it's necessary, but because it feels easier than pushing back. That's a boundary issue. And it usually doesn't look like a problem at first. When you can't protect your time and energy, your schedule starts filling up with other people's priorities. You plan your day one way, and it ends up going another. And over time, that lack of control starts to show up in ways most people don't connect back to this. You feel behind, rushed, constantly catching up, because you're not deciding how your energy is used. It's being decided for you. And that carries into the quality of your interactions. Relationship friction. Conversations start feeling heavier. You're explaining more, holding back more, getting less in return. That's a relationship quality issue. When trust, support, or respect drops, even slightly, every interaction costs more than it should. You leave conversations replaying them in your head, thinking about what you should have said, how it could have gone differently. That's friction, and it doesn't stay contained to the conversation. It carries into everything you do afterwards. Now, layer that on top of a full schedule, you feel like you're always on. Messages, calls, conversations, even if they're not negative, there's just too many of them. Nothing is wrong individually, but it's the accumulation that causes the problem. That's social overload. Even positive relationships become draining when they exceed your capacity. You don't have time to reset. You don't have time to think clearly. It's not just who you're around, it's how much you're carrying. And when that load stays high for too long, fatigue stops feeling temporary. It starts feeling normal. And even if you try to reduce the volume, there's still one more layer that most people miss. Misaligned circle. You start to feel tension around your goals. Not necessarily conflict, just a subtle resistance. You bring up something you're working toward, and the conversation moves past it quickly. There's lack of interest, lack of support, sometimes quiet doubt. That's a social alignment problem. And this is one of the easiest to ignore. When the people around you don't support where you're going, every interaction creates friction. You start filtering what you say, second guessing your direction, because your environment isn't reinforcing your progress, it's quietly slowing you down. And when you add all of this up, it's not just draining your energy, it's lowering your overall performance. If you recognized even one of these, this isn't random. It's a pattern and it's measurable. And once you see it clearly, it's hard to ignore. That's why I built the Social Wellness Audit. You can download it for free. The link's in the description and I'll pin it in the comments. This isn't complicated. You're just looking at your social environment in a structured way. Start with this. Who consistently gives you energy? Who consistently takes it? And who falls somewhere in the middle? The person who you feel better after talking to and the one you need a break from. Most people have a mix of all three. They've just never separated them clearly. Once you do, patterns start to show up. And this is where most people start seeing things they didn't expect. You'll see where your time is going, where your energy is going, and where things are out of balance. And then there's something else you'll start to notice. It's what I call social debt. That's when energy is consistently going one direction. You're always the one listening. You're always the one helping, but rarely the one being supported. And over time, that imbalance adds up. If you want to run this on yourself, the audit walks you through it step by step. Look, this isn't about cutting people off. It's not about avoiding relationships. It's about managing your inputs. High performers don't just manage time. They manage what affects their energy because that's what drives everything else. And once your energy drops, everything else follows. Focus, decision-making, consistency. If your environment is working against you, you'll feel it in all those areas. Most people try to fix burnout by doing less, but that only works if the real problem is the workload. If the problem is your environment, you have to address it directly. And most people don't because they're not looking in the right place. Just remember, once you see it clearly, you can start making better decisions about where your energy goes and what you stop tolerating. Now, there's one part of this that trips people up next. They recognize the problem, but they don't know how to recover from it once it's already happening. That's where most people stay stuck. If you want, you can download the audit and go through it after this. But in the meantime, check this next video out where I'll show you how to start reversing burnout and getting your energy back under control. I'll see you there.